Gold's rally seems to be fading, but our next guest suggests that this may just be another great buying opportunity for gold investors. Joining us now is Frank Holmes of U.S. Global Investors. Frank, thanks so much for joining us on Kitco News today.
It's great to be back, and you're absolutely correct. It's an incredible look at the world of gold because there's a very well-defined seasonal pattern. You can go look at 5 years, you can look at 15 years, you can look at 30 years, and it's a very well-defined pattern. Gold was extremely overbought at the end of April, and now it's correcting. We've talked about this several times in May, and we'll set up for probably a bottom in June, which will make a great buy.
Well, let me ask you, Frank, let's talk about the big news here, the June rate hike. Many had discounted it, and now after last week, it now seems back on the table. So do you think gold will continue to hurt until we have the FOMC in June here, Frank?
Yes, and it's just the perfect storm. It was why gold was up 2 and 3 standard deviations over 1 month versus 3 months. It had a spectacular move, and it will correct just before the meeting. And the results come out, and bond rates will start to rise. Real rates will become less negative, and gold correct with it perfectly.
Well, Frank, this is leaving many people to question and wonder whether gold's great gold run here in 2016 it has come to a halt because of this news emerging from the Fed now.
Well, they're not following the rest of the theater of the world, and the slowdown and the numbers that came out of Europe this past week, they're not pretty. And still, Asia struggles to have any sustainable GDP growth. So I think that the world is fighting not to go tipping over into another recession.
So, Frank, what would you say really still makes you bullish on gold? Is it because you're bearish, as you just mentioned, on the global outlook here?
Yeah, it appears right now that the central bankers are ruling the world with negative real interest rates, and most of the governments do not have the imagination to have fiscal stimulus, which would be streamlining regulations and dropping taxes and tariffs. And until that happens, I think we're going to deal with slow growth.
All right, Frank, what's your touchdown pass going to be this week? What are you eyeing that can move gold prices?
Well, I think the touchdown pass will be PMI. It's coming out on the 25th. It'll give you a good reflection of what's happening in America. And if it's a reflection of the slower GDP, which is behind us, now looking forward, then I think that it'll be bullish for gold. Rates will not be rising.
Frank, thanks so much for joining us.
Happy investing.
And thank you for watching. We have Peter Hug up next. Thanks for watching.